Welcome to Puzzled and Chatty, the Canadian edition, with me, Adam Gray, where I talk with people in the jigsaw and speed puzzling world and hear their stories and thoughts on this growing competitive activity and the puzzle community. I kick off Season 2 with an episode where I chat with the creators of the world's fastest jigsaw puzzle, Jigzup. From an idea 8 years ago, they have built and designed something new for the puzzle community. Here to talk about this journey, I welcome the Dreamers, Jerome and Ciragh. We chat about their Kickstarter launching on September 1st, where this puzzle concept started, all the different versions leading up to now, the challenges they have faced, competitions they've run, the current records for this puzzle, and what other fastest puzzles they hope to see come in the future, including one with a very unique aspect that I love. So pull up a chair and pick a puzzle off the shelf to do while you listen to three people who are puzzled and chatty. Hello and welcome to another episode of Puzzled and Chatty, kicking off Season 2 of this series. I am joined by some interesting people who are trying to make a big name in the jigsaw puzzling world. We have Jerome and Ciragh. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us,
thanks for having
Canadam.
us, Adam.
Do you prefer Adam or Canadam?
Adam is fine. Canadam's the channel. I do get called Canadam a lot on other platforms and not my actual name. It's fine. It's all branding. It's fine, right?
You'll answer to anything.
So you are the founders of Jigzup, which is kind of making a big appearance right now, even though it's been around longer than people think, which we will get into. Before we go into everything about you and everything, just what is Jigzup, I guess, is a good way to start.
Ooh, I love that question. I mean, it's the world's fastest puzzle.
Yeah.
It sounds like hyperbole, and I know I'm going into like pitch mode here like a carnival barker, but it actually is the world's fastest puzzle. It's a 500-piece puzzle that you can do in like 20, 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's instead of a picture, it's got a letter number grid and a color scheme on the front and the back, which every design feature is there to help you do it faster. So people who've never beaten 50 minutes for a 500-piece puzzle do Jigzup the first time in like 29, for example.
Yeah, it's like whatever piece you pick up, you can build from. It's like every piece is a winner from it. There's no
It's the puzzle's on your side. It tells you where it goes.
Yeah. We are definitely going to get into the smaller details of that puzzle in a little bit, but yeah, I've seen over the past few weeks or so a lot of fast and not so fast traditionally puzzlers try this out, and the times are incredibly fast. But we will get into that in a little bit more detail. Let's kind of start at the beginning, I guess, then, because you don't wake up one day and just decide to create the fastest puzzle in the world. You have to start somewhere. Kind of what is your background for each of you, I guess, when it comes to puzzling in general?
My family we were the cottage puzzlers. You know, we were sort of we loved puzzles, but it was sort of a once a year at the cottage event where we would dump out a 1,000 or 2,000 piece on the cottage table, and it would just be ongoing for the weekend that we were there. And everyone would pop in and put in a few pieces and wander off. The one thing I did get from my family with jigsaw puzzles that I love and stuck with me is when we finished, we would pick it up and put it down upside down and autograph the bottom. Yep. And I love that tradition because it gives puzzles a history. It gives them little tattoos. So let's say you've got a 30-year-old puzzle at the cottage, you can see, oh my God, Grandpa Charles did it in 1981. Yeah, that's my family puzzling background.
Yeah, and my household was full of rambunctious kids, so there was no way anyone was going to have the patience to sit down and do a puzzle. But my grandma, she was an avid puzzler right up until she died a couple of years ago at 96. She was doing puzzles constantly. She had a puzzle board. She would I bought her one for Christmas, which was a Hudson's Bay Canada puzzle. So it was like the map of Canada with kind of cool icons, and she would do that many times over. That was one of her favorite puzzles. And she She was always an incredible inspiration for, you know, that keeping your mind and your body active. So yeah, and then when I moved to Canada, cottage puzzles was another thing. Jerome and I would do puzzles at the cottage as well, which I found very relaxing because that's what it's for, right? That's what it, that unwinding and seeing other people's puzzle choices and yeah. So yeah, doing puzzles with people as well. Very, it's more of a sociable event, I think, for us when we're doing puzzles. We don't sort of squirrel away and do puzzles separately. So yeah.
One time we went to a cottage and we had a beautiful, I think it was 1,000-piece puzzle, and it was sky, colorful canoes on the shore, and then grass. And we did the border and we did the line of colorful canoes, and then we just left the grass and we left the sky. We're like, that's too much work.
We didn't enjoy the blues. You know how people sort and, you know, build puzzles very strategically. We were like, no, we like the color and we've moved on.
Yeah, we know that for some
Sorry,
people that's their
everybody.
happy place, and we totally get that. We love that, but that's not my happy place. That's like one of those ironic tortures. It's like, oh my God, I gotta anyway.
Yeah.
It's been a while, I think, since I've done a puzzle for relaxation. I don't really remember the last time I did that because as part of the speed puzzle community, there's a different focus with that. So kind of how did you two get into this speed puzzling aspect, I guess, to go from very calm cottage type puzzles, once a year type puzzles to speed, pure speed? Where did this transition kind of happen?
Well, so this we got to Jigzup before we got to speed puzzling.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the thing I mentioned earlier about flipping puzzles upside down, that's where the idea for Jigzup started. We had a puzzle upside down, and so I could autograph the bottom after we'd finished it, and it occurred to me I could write a letter number grid on the bottom, and then I could take it apart and put it together upside down. And that idea amused me. So I grabbed a pen and I wrote an alphanumeric grid on the bottom of it from A1 to Y20. And then I took it apart and I put it back together again. It didn't take very long because the pieces just tell you the order. And it was very satisfying. It was really like, whew, it really scratched an itch in my brain. So that was where the idea for Jigzup came from, and you know, without
Jump ahead a little bit.
yeah, just to skip ahead a bit. So then 6 years, 7 years after that, when it became a commercial, we're like, okay, we're gonna make this, we're gonna make a business. Jigzup's gonna be a real thing in the world, as opposed to an art project to amuse me. We were like, speed puzzlers are gonna love this. So we started looking into the speed puzzling world. The community is so friendly, they're so welcoming. We love speed puzzlers, and obviously it's really well suited to Jigzup. So we've been sending it out to a lot of them. So our introduction to the speed puzzling world has been them being very welcoming as we try to get Jigzup out there and build a name for it.
Yeah, and also like a lot of our friends during COVID, I think a lot of people got into puzzling more during the pandemic because of just the downtime and being at home. A lot of our friends secretly went off to become speed puzzlers and we didn't even know. They kind of found the community and found that they really loved it. And so they were doing it and we didn't even know. And so when they found out about Jigzup, they were very intrigued because they were like, well, I feel like this could be good for me. So yeah, so we have a lot of secret speed puzzlers in our lives that sort of like emerged through the pandemic. And I think that was our big introduction to the whole idea of speed puzzling as an activity, as something that people do, you know, it's a competition.
So if somebody's not in that world, it's,
yeah,
you might not know this. A lot of people don't know this community exists. Yeah. It's like you hear about roots of trees in a forest that are all interconnected, and they're like, the biggest organism in the world is tree roots under a forest, but you don't even know they're there. It's like that with the speed puzzling community. It's this huge, beautiful network of people doing these great events together. But if you're not part of it, you might not even know it exists. I was shocked how many speed puzzlers there are in the world and how many events. And
so many events.
Yeah. So we're interlopers, really. We're just discovering this world in real time.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are, and it's because of puzzle companies like yourself that are popping up and channels and such like this that are kind of helping to push this speed puzzling and just getting puzzling back into more of a, it's not just about being at a cottage and doing a puzzle over the course of a few weeks. There's other aspects to doing a puzzle in 2026 that's different, and it's going to keep changing, especially with puzzles like Jigzup. Now, this has been an 8-year process. It's mentioned on you do have some good background videos on your Instagram page, which people should go and follow. While I'm talking about it, what is your Instagram page so people can find and figure all that out?
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, all our socials are, so our business is also World's Fastest Puzzle. So you can find us on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, and we give all our, backstory and keep you in the loop of like all the events that we're attending and obviously the Kickstarter. But we wanted our Instagram to be and our socials to be very transparent about the process. I think in this modern age, a lot of people are wary of AI, and we were very anti that in our lives. And so we wanted to make sure that people saw the journey. Like, this isn't just a whim design. Like, this has been in Jerome's brain all the way through to his fingers for like 8 years. So yeah, I'm so happy that you got to explore the process on our socials.
Yeah. At World's Fastest Puzzle.
Yeah, on everything.
And the website's worldfastestpuzzle.com. We're really leaning hard on if this doesn't work, then it's not going to work, because we're really betting the farm on World's Fastest Puzzle.
Yeah.
It is. I do like how you mentioned, you did bring up the not AI associated or anything, because that is becoming more and more of a concern within the puzzle community on which companies are using it and which are not. And as you just mentioned, this is all from your own brains and your own motivations, I guess. It's not putting this into a AI builder and sorting this out. So I think there's going to be a lot of people, once they know that for sure, then that's going to get even more people on board. You did mention that a lot of your friends started getting into puzzling during COVID, which, that was quite popular. There's only so much to do during that time. But at the same time, there was also more puzzle companies that were starting to show up during that time too, because people started their own businesses, entrepreneurs. It's great to see a lot of different options within the puzzle community. Kind of, you've already, I guess, touched on it to a degree, but what is going to make the World's Fastest Puzzle or Jigzup or your company really stand out?
Well, we're a traditional puzzle company is going to release a line of puzzles, and then next year release another line of puzzles.
Or even more, like their turnout is much bigger.
A lot of turnover. Jigzup is one thing. We got one puzzle, folks, and that's it. You want two puzzles? We don't have two. We got one, and it's Jigzup. It's more
the concept. I think.
Yeah, it has. Well, Jigsaw, it has more in common with a board game than it does with it's like a crisper. Is it a chip? Is it a cracker? It's both puzzle and party game. So like, we're not going to be releasing 100 different puzzles. Like this is the puzzle, and we hope people love it. People are loving it so far, but that's one difference from a traditional puzzle company.
And there is scalability to it, right? So when Jerome did the original one, which I know we might go back to, it was 1,000 pieces. And, some people might want to have the challenge of 1,000 piece, which is doable. And then we've also had a lot of feedback from parents and educators that are like, this is great for school and kids. Can you make it a little bit smaller, like a mini version, which is more sort of accessible? So there's ways to like modify the shape and size, I guess, and the color schemes, obviously so many different gradients of colors, but the concept itself will always remain pretty solid. And because that's what we're patenting. That's the heart of Jigzup, is this like alphanumeric grid and the way you build it and all of Jerome's innovations. So
we're patent pending in Canada and the States.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. Another difference is, and it's a pretty fundamental difference, maybe a bit intangible, but a traditional puzzle is a deconstructed picture. It's by its very nature, it is difficult. And that's part of the joy of it. I love a traditional puzzle. The whole premise is flipped with Jigzup. There is no picture. It is inherently easy. the feeling of doing it, there's a lot of overlap with doing a normal puzzle, but it's very different. You're not, it's designed to create a flow state. It's designed to be on your side, and it's meditative because you don't really have to think about it that much. Once you get into the rhythm of it, you're just boom, 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 boom. It's just like dopamine hit, dopamine hit. So one of my friends called it 500 little victories. I love that. So it kind of flips the premise, and then I mean, I know I keep saying it, but World's Fastest Puzzle, that's the big difference. Like, we're banking on that hook. And we hope. So far, the evidence backs it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, you do mention the intangible aspect as, like, with someone who does work with marketing and used to teach marketing at a university, I would always tell my students it's the intangibles that are going to keep you going. It's the tangible is just, that's something you can hold on to. It can be copied and everything else. The intangibles are so much harder to replicate because that's where the feelings come from. That's where the emotions come from. That's where the passion and stuff comes from. So the intangibles that people are going to get from this and that you're sharing with yourself is what's going to set these types of puzzle companies like yourselves apart from everybody else, which is always good to see.
Oh, thanks.
What did you kind of, when you first started thinking about this, I guess, I'm still working on this journey that we're up to getting to at this point. What was the initial, what did you want to accomplish, I guess, from the start of this?
Well,
and has that changed?
My brain really loved this idea. I was immediately in love with this alphanumeric grid on a puzzle, and the goal was to create the best version of it for myself. For years, it was not a business. It was an art project that obsessed might be too strong a word, but I was very
consuming. It was consuming.
It was very consuming, and it was also, this come up before. It was during COVID. Well, actually, originally it was pre-COVID.
It was pre-COVID.
But during COVID, I had a lot of time to hand paint prototypes. So I ordered, after that one where I just drew it on the back of a normal puzzle, I ordered a blank 1,000-piece puzzle from China. And just a white puzzle. It came in 6 completed sections. I didn't have to put the whole thing together, thankfully. And
some people would love that.
And that's some, again, back to the like ironic punishments. That's not my happy place. But I came up with the design. I mean, I just got some markers and did an alphanumeric grid on it. And it took me months. I painted colors on it on the front and back. As I was going, I kept innovating. Like, how can I make this easier? How can I make this better? How can I make this more appealing to me? I was designing the thing I wanted.
Yeah. And
it took a couple of months to make that first prototype. You can see pictures of it on the Instagrams. You can see it on the Instagrams, kid. And then we started doing tests. I was like, at this point, people like friends and family had tried it and were really into it. So it did start to occur to me around then, like maybe this is a thing I should make and sell. But the 1,000-piece was too big. It took people about an hour and a half, an hour 45 minutes. And for this particular type of thing, I wanted it to be faster. So then I got a blank 500-piece puzzle from China. I made another prototype. And
that was when a lot of friends were like, when can I have a Jigzup? When can I get a Jigzup? And we were like, oh, we don't know, like we have no clue, right?
Yeah. So like the design impetus was always make the thing that I want, but over time it evolved in my brain that like I think inevitably I'm going to have to sell this at some point because people really dig it.
Yeah. But at that point, you had no interest in the business side, and neither of us are business people. We both work in the nonprofit world, and we're very artistic and creative. So we don't have, any experience in running a business. But I was like, I feel like that's a challenge I'd like to take on. So I proposed that I would do the business side if Jerome worked on the design side, and that's how World's Fastest Puzzle came about. It was But that was only a couple of years ago. So really the business is not that old, but the design is.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have happened without Kira, because business is not, that's not the way my brain works. Like taxes and incorporating and trademarks and patents and bookkeepers and
It's a lot.
it's not my world, and I don't want it to be my world. But then Kira was like, I can do it, Jerry, put me in, let's do a business. And we did. We teamed up. So now Kira, she's a CFO. She does the social media. We're full partners and everything. But
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that my brain is not well suited to, Kira's really good at, and I get to do the designs still. And
Yeah, it's
but yeah,
it's working out so far.
so
It's
far so good. I mean, we haven't made any money yet. We're still just spending money and mailing them to people, but.
But that's the exciting
Fingers
part.
crossed.
That's the exciting part is when someone gets their jigs up. It's like, you know, like, because I think that's the good thing. Is like we wouldn't see a customer in a shop with it, but if you see someone online and they are gracious enough to share their experience, that's very rewarding overall.
That was
But,
a long answer to a short question. So yeah, I got excited.
It's good that you have opposite strengths that you're bringing to this. Essentially, it is two puzzle pieces that fit together that you're able to do this. So analogies everywhere.
Yeah.
It's as the puzzle community is growing, and I've already mentioned that there are new puzzle brands coming out, and I talk with a lot of puzzlers, and a lot of people sit around and they say, you know what, we could start a puzzle company. It can't be that tough to do, and it's the same as if you're sitting in a bar with a bunch of people. We should open a bar, or someone's good at baking. You should open a bakery, and it's these really quick ideas, but it can't be that simple. For those people that are sitting around going, I could start a puzzle company. That's fine. What's the reality of it? You've already mentioned a few of the aspects, the behind the scenes things, but what have been the challenges, I guess, over these past 8 years as you're building into what it is now?
I mean, we'll go into more detail. The short version is it's really hard. We're working more than either of us want to be working. We're spending money that we don't have. It's constantly on our minds, even when we don't want it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Don't kid yourself. If you're starting a business, you're going to be working like hell.
But I think also one of the differences between Jigzup and maybe a regular piece puzzle that you can get is that we have a bespoke die cut. Like Jerome had to have an ordered die cut that was very specific for the Jigzup because of the size, because of the pieces, because it's double-sided, because of the design. So it wasn't just, we'll just send this image off to a puzzle maker and then have print off 1,000, you know, like which some people could do, and then have like an Amazon store, which is totally fine. There's very, very, I'd say, easier ways to do it. But if you're really wanting to like have a new version of a puzzle and a very sustainable business that is, like you say, intangible, not replicable, you have to like think of all of the logistics. And our manufacturers are in America, and so we have all those little dealings of like the exchange rates and all of these things that come about that people maybe aren't realizing, that when you're making puzzles and shipping, and that there's if you want to do it properly and own your puzzle company, then you really have to like own all the components, including the die cuts, including the the patterns, all the things that make it truly unique and what people wanting to buy into. So you're kind of showing that you are a quality puzzle, because I've seen a lot of puzzle reviews and they're like, too much dust, this, and it's like, it's trying to compete with some really amazingly already established puzzle companies as well.
Yeah, there was more initial, due to the nature of this puzzle, we couldn't, like if somebody wanted to start a puzzle company with a picture on it, they could make the artwork or source the artwork and send it off to a puzzle company and have it printed with a standard die cut. But because in Jigzup, the image and the die cut are intrinsically connected, because each piece has a letter and number on it. So we had to design the die cut, and then we had to design the puzzle image to match it precisely. And it's two-sided, so we had to design the front and the back. and we had to have a bespoke die cut made because it's 28 by 18 pieces. It's not a standard puzzle size. So some of the challenges that Jigzup faced would not be common for a new puzzle company. Like we couldn't start small and build. We kind of had to start with the real thing.
Yeah.
For those reasons.
Yeah. I think that's it. There's no test driving. Those were the hand painted versions. That was the only way we could.
Yeah, like when
get...
we made prototypes, we had to make 1,000 prototypes. We couldn't just make like 10.
Yeah. Hence why some future videos on our Instagram and socials will be the whole journey of getting our puzzles from Tipton, Indiana, back to Toronto.
Okay. It was so exciting going to the...
We are exporters.
Yeah. Let's continue talking about this puzzle then. The first public puzzle release, I guess. It's not been released, but you've been sending it out to various puzzlers to have it tested. You're getting feedback from them and having it posted on various social media platforms from puzzlers across Canada, really. Let's talk about puzzles specifically then. What factors did you take into account when you were thinking, what do we need to include to make sure that this is the fastest puzzle? I know you've already spoken about a few of them with letters and numbers and such, but let's just kind of look at all of it now. Because there's a lot more details in this than I think people realize, that once they add them all together, it makes it so much easier to go through this puzzle at a faster speed. So what factors did you bring in to make sure this will be as fast as possible?
So I've already talked a lot about, the alphanumeric grid and the color scheme, which is sort of essential. That's the main reason why it's fast, is the alphanumeric grid on it and the color scheme on the front and back. So the color scheme, here's this, the edge pieces are bright yellow and on the front and the back. So if you're doing a traditional, I don't want to say normal puzzle because I'll say a traditional puzzle. If you're doing a traditional puzzle, it takes me forever to get the edge pieces separated. Yeah. Like a lot of people, I like to start with the edge pieces, and it takes me half an hour to get them all out of the box. And then I realize and then I build the edge and I realize I'm missing 6 or 8, and then I have to go through it again, and it takes me another 15 minutes, and I'm still missing 1 or 2. So with Jig, we wanted to eliminate that. So the edge pieces are yellow, top and bottom. So when you dump out the box, you can grab all the edge pieces in 1 minute, like 1-2 minutes. You've got all the edge pieces sorted. You don't need to flipping. You don't need to flip with Jigzup because the color scheme is on the top and the bottom. So you need to flip it to see the letter and the number.
But for sorting.
But for if you're sorting by color, you don't need to flip anything. You can sort immediately. So that makes it a lot faster.
Yeah. And also the edge pieces are slightly bigger, so you feel the difference between the pieces. If you're if you're scurrying through a pile, you can pull the yellow pieces just based on the size are a little bit chunkier, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's another part of the bespoke die cut. At one point we had this revelation. We're like, oh my God, we're making a bespoke die cut. We can make our edge pieces bigger if we want. That was an exciting day.
Yeah.
What else the piece size is bigger than normal, which some people would say slows them down and some people would say speeds them up. We wanted a really nice tactile experience with this puzzle. I think that's thing that's nice about doing any jigsaw puzzle is you're there in the real world. You're feeling things, you're picking things up, you're turning them in your hands. And that's pleasant to me and to a lot of people. So our pieces are bigger than normal. It's a 504 piece puzzle, but when it's done on your table, it's the size of a standard 1,000 piece. And that was a conscious that we made it as big as we could and still fit on a normal table.
Because accessibility was still key, so that anyone, whether you have not as strong sighted, that you could see all the pieces and still build it regardless, because obviously it's a letter and number, so you don't want to be here, you could be able to see it from further away. So we had to make it slightly bigger in order for the letter and number to pop. So that
we want the really clear, visible, obvious letters and numbers you can see without leaning down, without holding it up to your eyes. We wanted older folks or folks with less than perfect vision to still be able to do it. So having bigger pieces means bigger letters and numbers as well.
Yeah.
And just, which, yeah.
And then anti-glare, Jerome was very aware of, especially for speed puzzles. We know if there's a glare, it can really jar your momentum. So Jerome wanted to go with the finish that was the most effective finish without, creating too much light or glare on the puzzle.
Yeah, when you order a puzzle, that you can get a glossy one, like an eggshell, semi-gloss one, or a matte one. We went with matte because we didn't want that glare on it. I don't know why anyone would get glare on a jigsaw puzzle. Some companies do. What do you think about that?
For speed, it needs to be matte. Yeah, for sure. I guess glare can kind of bring out a little bit more of a shine in certain puzzles. It can help with make it more vibrant, I guess, in aspects. But yeah, if you get the wrong type of light, then it's ruined by the glare. What would you say then? Because there's letters, there's numbers, the columns and the rows, the borders, the gradient, everything, the colors that you've mentioned. Is there a challenging aspect to the puzzle, though? Is there still something in it where it's like, okay, it's not... Yes, it's the world's fastest puzzle, so theoretically this is the easiest puzzle, because it has to kind of go hand in hand. But is there a challenge?
The one thing that we keep hearing from people is that it's challenging in a way they don't expect. They're really testing their alphabet. Now, I know everyone here knows their alphabet probably, but it really tests it.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you said the alphabet backwards in the last 10 years? It tests these little dusty rooms in the back of your brain where you're like, yeah, I know my letters, I know my numbers, but creating a 500-piece grid of them, it kind of dusts off some of those parts of the brain.
Yeah, we do hear that. And I think the way that there's ways to introduce gameplay into Jigzup so that you have this puzzle that can be made and built in different ways, and then you add challenge depending on how you want to, I'm only going to build it concentrically going inwards. Like you can then decide how you build it, and that kind of will, tickle different things that make you feel good about building puzzles. And I think being able to do, we've done some time lapses where we've done it in different ways of in just the rows or in the numbers, and it's that does make you think differently to build it when you're trying to build it outside of the norm of the way you might build a puzzle, or how you're expected, we're just going to do it all the ones together and all the twos or what have you. So there's it's challenging, but it's also satisfying because you'll always succeed. And I think that's the key to the challenge, is the challenge is always going to be met. You'll always meet the challenge.
I think that lands on, if you want to do it in relax mode, in meditation mode, which is how I usually do it, I'll put on the Eagles' greatest hits. I'll pour myself a pint of cider, which gets ignored because then I'm just focused on the Jigzup, and I'll usually takes me about 50 minutes if I'm just doing it in super chill relax mode. And the honest answer is it's not hard. It's not hard. It's very relaxing. It's very meditative. It's not hard. But the hard part comes from trying to do it fast. There's so many design elements integrated into it. If you want to do it slowly, you're not going to have a hard time. But if you want to beat 20 minutes, you're going to have to do some real strategy. And if you want to beat your own record, I think the hard part is going to be doing it competitively. It's going to be, when's the first time that a solo puzzler is going to go sub 20? That's going to be really hard. Right now, our best solo time is 20 minutes and 18 seconds. That's at Black Cat Puzzles on Instagram. She's amazing.
Katie dilutes a card. Yep, she's very, very fast.
The first time she did it, she got 28. Second time she did it, she got 24. Third time she did it, she got 20 minutes and 18 seconds, which is currently the solo record. Right now, the pairs record is 17 minutes and 27 seconds. It's a 10-year-old boy and his mom. So to do it at that speed is really hard. Yeah. And nobody, including us, has cracked the strategy yet. No. People are working on, some people do by letter, some by numbers, some from the inside out, outside in two chunks that you put together. There's a lot of different strategies you can employ. Yeah. And at some point, there's going to be two people that do it that go sub 10. I know this to be true, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, when we held a championship last week, I think it was just last week, and there was 14 teams, and every single team approached it differently. There were speed puzzlers there who are, like training all the time, and there were just sort of like some of our friends and folks who aren't necessarily speed puzzlers, but every single team approached it totally differently, and it was quite a compelling thing to see because like I say, there were speed puzzlers and there were folks who were like Kathy and Leo, who were the mother and son who broke the record. They're not speed puzzlers, but they just keep doing Jigzup over and over again. It just, whatever it is about it, it's such a satisfying feeling of completion that people are going to get better at it because you'll just keep doing it. People just get sucked in. It's quite it's really, really beautiful to see what people think about Jigzup and to watch them build it. It's really cool.
Yeah, there is my concern when I eventually try it will be because there's so many aspects. I'll have to convince myself to focus on just one of them. If I'm trying to think of letters and numbers and the colors, it's going to be too much. It's just going to have to focus directly on one. When it comes to, I laughed when you mentioned how many times do people say the alphabet backwards. The number of people that are going to watch this and are going to attempt that exact thing when you say that will be quite funny. I oddly do it quite often for some reason. I don't know why, especially because the first half rhymes. It's just a nice little song in my head. But yeah, maybe it'll be the letters that I'll focus on, but we'll see how that goes.
At the risk of being super annoying, can we hear you do the alphabet? Let's hear it. Let's get the alphabet backwards. If you get it wrong, that's okay.
The first half is easy. It's the second half that gets tougher. So Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A.
Holy
Not even
that was amazing.
Yeah, there was no flinching. Yeah, that's good brain training. That's going to keep your brain very young and active, I think.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
I was in my head, I was like, for sure there's going to be a flub, and that was holy cow. Yeah. You're a born Jigzupper.
Yeah. I'll have to watch that back. Maybe I made a mistake. It is, weirdly enough, when I did the alphabet the other way, though, if someone said, where's the letter, like, what order does V, W, and U come in, that's always going to throw me off. I have to actually say the alphabet forwards to know the right way. It's those three. Always confusing.
For me, it's LKJIH. HIJKL. I've no idea. No, I mean, it's sort of trained in there. But if you asked me out of context, Jerome, what's first, L or J? I'd be like, and I'd get a nosebleed and I'd run away.
Then you say the whole alphabet before.
Yeah. It's like if you ask me for a line in the third verse of Ice Ice Baby, I got to do the whole song. I can't skip to the third verse. I know the third verse, but I got to work my way to it.
All right, now sing Ice Ice Baby.
Forwards or backwards?
That's probably have a strike on my account for copyright or something.
I'd sell it by the gram.
So this is kind of, I guess, close to the final version. You are still getting feedback and stuff from it. There's a quote that you have in one of your videos where it says, the product is art as I see it, and which kind of stood out to me, which I really liked because you've invested so much time into this. And again, the videos that tell the story on your Instagram where you see those original prototypes where it's, you've written on the back of a puzzle, and then it's the grayscale, and then it's the different blues. It's the whole process. What does it mean to you to kind of see this come together to what it is now?
It's very meaningful to me. It's deeply meaningful to me. I've been making, I like making things. I've been making weird things my whole life, and I was. This is one of those rare occasions when I made something that I'm like, I did it. I did the thing that was in my brain that I was trying to get to. I'm getting emotional talking about it right now. it was an iterative process, and I was like, what do I like? What do I not like? How can I make it better? And years later, I look at the jigs up in front of me, and more just, and I see people do it, and it's Back to the Future when Doc's like, it works, I finally made something that works.
It works! It worked! I finally invent something that works!
That plays in my head. It's deeply gratifying and it's also, it's a very I know it's a puzzle, it's a fast puzzle, but my brain is like an alphanumeric grid with a color scheme. Like this is really the inside of my head splashed out as a thing. So it's deeply meaningful to me to see it exist in the real world the way I want it to, and like I'm very proud of it, and it brings me joy.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that happened one time when we did like 1,000 piece, and I think it was Jerome's aunt was like, where's the puzzle, where's the art? And Jerome's uncle was like, this is art, because it's this beautiful hand drawn piece. And I think that we understand that people do puzzles and they love the art, like that's what will draw you to want to do a puzzle, and lots of people keep them in big books, and it's beautiful. And I think it's important that people know that Jigzup is still art. It's not what you're expecting, but it's still a beautiful piece. Like when you see it all done, it's got this blue gradient scale. It feels like you're going to the ocean. Like it's just art, but different, And I think that that's something that I'm really proud of.
Scandinavian art.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it because I've been part of the journey and all the different iterations, and watching Jerome kind of think about blues and trying to create different blue scales with paint, and it's just been, it really is a wonderful end result for the journey that we've been on.
And the copy that's out there right now that the Instagrammer speed puzzlers are beating each other's best times over is that's the prototype, the one that we're going to release in September. We've already made a bunch of modifications. I mean, it's essentially the exact same thing, but the color scheme is fixed. The line widths are improved upon. The
clarity of the image.
Yeah, we've used the prototype to make it better. So like, and this is, can we do a Canadam exclusive? We're releasing.
Yes, you definitely can.
We're releasing Jigzup Fire on the Kickstarter. There's going to be a whole other, you can buy people will be able to get the battle pack, which is the classic one, and Jigzup Fire, which is the same alphanumeric grid puzzle, but it's the classic one is inspired by going into the ocean or into a sea. This one is like going deeper into a flame. It's just a totally different color scheme, but it's hot. It's spicy.
And the idea being that if you were to empty two Jigzups onto a table at the same time, you could build from the same pile, and they wouldn't get, you wouldn't get your pieces mixed up because they're entirely different designs.
Yeah, they're so distinct. You could mix up the pieces and then compete that way. You could also, since they're made from the same die cut, have two people competing or two teams competing, and they can put the Jigzup Classic and Jigzup Fire together into the same puzzle. And then at the end, whoever has the most pieces is the winner. Yeah. I'm really excited to try that game. I can't do it yet because they don't exist yet, but that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're always thinking of the gameplay of Jigzup, which is why we know it's a puzzle in principle, but there are gaming elements to it, which kind of give it a little bit, but help kind of broaden the audience of puzzlers, because we've had so many people who were like, do you want to try our puzzle, when we were trying to test drive Jigzup, and they were like, I don't like puzzles. We're like, you're perfect. We need you, because we need, you're the right target audience for us, because we're trying to get people who don't like puzzles to go through to appreciate the experience of completing a puzzle, because that's what it is, isn't it? Right? The actual process of building a puzzle is so rewarding and relaxing, but if you don't like puzzles, you don't experience that. But with Jigzup, you get the experience of the reward of building a puzzle, but without that kind of perceived frustration of building one if you're not into it,
So there's a lot to unpack there. I'm going to try to order this in my head now. You mentioned the Kickstarter, so let's talk about the Kickstarter then. It is launching on September 1st of this year, so this episode will already be out, but I like how you're giving the preview on some stuff that's on there. And also, it's a good reminder that the puzzle people that are seeing, the puzzle that people are seeing on various social media platforms right now is not the final product. So it's not as though this product is being given out to, and that's kind of, you've used up your whole base of people. This is just the testing prototype type of thing. So there is another version coming. So the Kickstarter launches on September 1st. Kind of what is the Kickstarter for?
Well, we just don't have the capital. Like if you've got a big company that wants to make puzzles, they can order 10,000 puzzles and start distributing them to stores and selling them online, whatnot. We don't have that kind of capital at all. So Kickstarter Kickstarter gives two really wonderful opportunities to us. One, the opportunity people to pre-order it, so then we have the capital to make them. But secondly, and maybe even more importantly, there's this lovely community on Kickstarter. People really get into Kickstarter and they like browsing it, they like supporting it, they like getting behind a campaign and following a campaign and championing a campaign. So it's perfect for us because we know we're hoping to build a nice community around Jigzup, and we think Kickstarter is going to be a really great way to do that.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what it is. It's like the built-in community and people also being able to get their hands on Jigzup there instead of in front of a store, because we can't, we don't know if anyone's going to ever stock it. We want to have it on our website available to people, but I think Kickstarter is a good way to just like proof of concept too. People want it, people are trying it, people are interested in backing it and supporting it. So we think Kickstarter is
we'd love it to be in stores.
Perfect.
We think it'll be in stores next year, but Kickstarter is sort of a logical step before that. The Kickstarter is the proving ground, and then the stores will be like, oh, okay, people like this.
Yeah, because we're kind of coming at it from a very different angle. It's like people want something new, but they're also like, but what is this? So I think Kickstarter also gives us a great place to like share what we're about and share our journey and be very explicit about what the Jigzup is and answer questions if people, so I think it's a great one-stop shop for all that information for people who want to know more about Jigzup and think it would be good fit for them or their family. So
which kind of leads us into the future of Jigzup. And there, you've mentioned a couple things already. So the second version with the different color scheme, the fire version, which great. How you can bring that kind of into a gaming sort of aspect. So I can see this in board game cafes and those types of stores beyond just puzzle stores that sell puzzles. It's a Canadian brand as well, which is important to remind people of. Do you have kind of any other plans or ideas or concepts that you're kind of noodling about to see what else you might be able to bring in with this, whether it's larger puzzles, smaller puzzles, kind of, is there other stuff potentially out there?
A lot of people are interested in a smaller version that might be for littler kids, like
for schools.
So like the classic version goes from A1 to Z16, but we could have one that goes from A1 to like that just goes, instead of going to 16, it just goes to 5 or to 6. Yeah. So it'd be nice, and you would get the whole alphabet in, but then it would just be the first 5 or 6 numbers. And that could be, that's one that we're excited to make. We're not going to be able to, that'll mean a new die cut. So this is more like medium to long term. We're not going to be doing this in the next few months. Also, a Jigzup Epic would be a lot of fun. A huge Jigzup. You need a big table. It could go, instead of going to Z16, it could go to Z32. So it'd be about twice as many pieces.
One thing that was very early on, a thought, which we haven't explored yet, but I think we for sure will, is a Braille version. So actually having the first ever jigsaw puzzle for folks who use Braille to read, because unlike a normal puzzle, the alphanumeric grid basically allows for the Braille, I don't know what it's called, the like
characters
to be imposed onto a puzzle. So that's something that was almost the first kind of like second iteration, if you know what I mean. Like that was one of the first things that came to mind, because we both work with the disability community, and you know, we see accessibility and inclusions and its flaws. So we thought like, oh, Braille Jigzup would be like so amazing. Like that would be truly the dream.
And there could be a different texture on the back and the front, so that you could tell tactile where the front is. The edge pieces could have a different texture as well to make it easier to find them in the box with your fingers. We're really, the journey of creating the business has kind of put that on the back burner, but I can't wait to get a Braille version.
Yeah, we think that would be really important.
With the Braille version, one that's great to provide to people that may be missing out on being part of the puzzle community, because a lot of puzzling is visual for obvious reasons. But to be able to provide that to the blind community would be would be great to see. On top of that, though, you're still going to get a lot of speed puzzlers that are going to want that version to test it out. I do various training and practicing for my competitions and such, and I don't do it often because it's very, very difficult, but there will be times where I'll put something over top of like my line of sight and just try to solve smaller puzzles only by feel, which is incredibly challenging to do. But it's just working on my dexterity and trying to notice very, very small differences in puzzle pieces. So like I've felt Braille on various, because you see it on various like bank machines and out in the wild, I guess. I don't understand how anyone can ever read that. So I want to try to figure out how to get more sensitive with touch and seeing how that works. So yeah, Braille version, I would definitely be all over that one. But yeah, I think that's great to include.
That's another sort of secondary reason why I want to have a Braille version, is because I would have to learn Braille, which I've always kind of wanted to, but who's going to be like, I'm going to take a month off my life and just learn Braille, even though I'm fully sighted. Yeah. So that would be a good collateral benefits, is I'd get to learn Braille.
And we'd consult and like collaborate with, you know, organizations that work with Braille to make sure that we were being accurate and, you know, make sure that everything was fair and legitimate. But yeah, like that was almost the second thing we thought of after Jigzup. That was a very long time ago.
It makes sense hearing you talk about how you'll cover up a puzzle and do it tactile, that you're the guy who can do the alphabet flawlessly backwards and fast.
Unfortunately, those don't go together, but yes, that would be good. You also mentioned smaller versions. Again, as someone who used to teach younger children as well, and worked in primary schools, it was having those types of puzzles for any students would be really beneficial for multiple reasons. Not just getting them interested in puzzles, but I can picture like math lessons being based around those. It's a good transition to using, it's essentially an Excel spreadsheet is what you put onto a puzzle. So that's like early versions of getting them ready into how to read those types of charts and such. So it's like mentally I'm picturing like lesson plans I'd be making, going, how could I incorporate it? Yeah, teachers again would be really, there's going to be teachers that would want that in their classrooms, and it gets bigger as the kids get older. There's a lot of factors. So I think right now, yeah, you have the one puzzle. It's the world's fastest puzzle, but you can have different versions of the world's fastest puzzle. This might be the world's fastest 500-piece puzzle, but there's going to be other versions of world's fastest puzzles.
Yeah. This is one of my little, you know, those little nightmares that exist in the back of your head when you're on the subway. Somebody's going to come up to me with like 2 puzzle pieces and be like, look, I did it. I put them together. That was fast. That's the world's and I'll be like, okay, take it easy. It's the world's fastest 500-piece jigsaw puzzle. Okay. But that's not a good slogan. We had to shorten it a bit.
Yeah. And I think in the, you know, in the world of puzzles where there's so many companies and so many designs to choose from, it's hard to have a hook, right? So like Jerome and I, when we were doing some, like, we did some test trials of different puzzles. We did like the 3-dimensional ball that was all different, like the color spectrum and stuff. And it's like,
That was a wild one. It was a spherical plastic puzzle, and it was just a continuous color gradient all the way around.
yeah, and there was lots of false fits. We do know about false fits, but we yeah, so you have to have a hook, right? So World's Fastest Puzzle was like, well, it is, and you know, we would have someone want to pick it up and be like, well, what is this? Because you're trying to like stand out amongst all these amazingly established companies and these new ones that are like really vibrant and interesting. So
yeah. There's an old musical called Gypsy, which I was in it when I was 11. My mom used to love to sing one of the songs from it that the burlesque dancers used to sing. You gotta get a gimmick if you wanna get ahead.
so yeah.
So that's our gimmick.
You did mention the false fits, and I think it's important to kind of mention, because that's what people are worried about when you see these newer companies pop up. But because of how it's built on the grid method, it's impossible to have a false fit, because you'll know, unless you don't know your alphabet and numbers, it's guaranteed to be, you would know immediately if it's in the wrong spot. So that covers that. Even if something might look like it goes together, you would know visually it's impossible for it to. So that's a good aspect to have.
Yeah, no, I think I like, full disclosure for any puzzle lovers listening, there are false fits. It's and we're sorry. We love you. We understand that for a lot of people it's a pet peeve, the false fits. For the design of the Jigzup, each piece, it's the bobbles or the innies, the outies. What do you call those, Adam?
I mostly do innies and outies, sometimes nubs.
Nubs.
Innies,
I like
outies.
bobbles. Sometimes I use innies. Anyway, they alternate going 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, and that's integrated in the design of it. It wouldn't work to do Jigzup where it's sort of random piece design. That doesn't make sense for what it is. So yeah, full disclosure, there are false fits. Just keep an eye on the alphabet and the numbers and you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's designed to tell you where to go. We have had people wanting to do the underside because the underside is also beautiful, but you are likely to stumble on some false fits there because it is the same. But we did have a team do it. We were hosting these Jigzup socials a little while ago, and we had a team of 4 who'd done the Jigzup twice before in that session. They decided they wanted to do it upside down, and they only got 1 false fit. They only got 2 pieces like mixed up out of 504. And the sorting process of that, there was one sorter and she was like on it, and she managed to pile it all up so that it fit almost exactly. There's 2 pieces in the wrong place, but it was quite incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch. It's the only time anyone that we know of anyway has done the Jigzup upside down. It took 4 people about an hour 45. They had a good time. Yeah. Actually, that same team of 4 people currently has the 4-person Jigzup record for doing it right side up, which is 15-15. In case anyone wants to beat that. That's a very beatable record, by the way. That's
yes.
Since it's the early, this is the Wild West for Jigzup, where any young gun can come into town and spin his revolver and get a world record because it's new. So like, it'd be tough to beat the single or pairs record, but if people come in 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, there are records waiting to be broken.
Yeah, the singles record, I know Kathy has it right now, but that will be... She'll probably break it herself. When she posts, I saw her post when she did the 20 minutes, and I messaged her immediately going, you have to do it again to get the under 20. Like, it's right there. You have to keep going with it. She will eventually get that under 20. I'm convinced at that, but there will definitely be other people that are going to do that. Just a couple other things with regards to like the future and such. Have you considered the world's slowest puzzle?
Well, what do you think that would look like? You'll probably have more insights on what that would, like, really heavy pieces.
yeah, just
lead.
It would. It's tough because you can't do a solid color because those are already out there, and you can just shape sort that. It might take a little bit longer, but you can get through it. Super busy puzzles have their challenges. There's a lot of different factors. Random cut could potentially make it tougher as well for certain people. I don't know. It's you're the artists behind these,
Okay,
so
we're
it's
gonna get on that. We're gonna
Yeah,
get on
okay.
that. Just it could be like one of those ongoing games of chess where you wake up in the morning and you move one piece, and then you turn the board around, and then the next day you do the other team. You could do that with a jigsaw puzzle, just one piece a day.
Yeah.
the yeah. You mentioned a couple times that you had your own little world championships competition and a few other competitions that you've done. What was the world championships that you kind of hosted?
Well, the first one we had was about 4 years ago, and that was with
It was here in
it
our
was
kitchen.
yes in this very kitchen you can see in our little Zoom window. Actually, you,
The disco ball.
yeah, I don't know if people listening will be able to see. There's a disco ball behind us. My dad and I installed that for the first world championship. That was in what, December 2022.
2022.
And at that point, we only had the hand painted. Well, we used our 500 piece hand painted prototype. That was the only Jigzup there was, other than the 1,000 piece before it. But and teams of two signed up. We had we could only be one team at a time because there was only one Jigzup, and we had teams going from noon till midnight. And the very final and I had my tuba out, and I did a little opening ceremony every hour as the new team kicked off.
Jerome made a leaderboard which with interchangeable names, which we have over there somewhere.
Yeah, with the Velcro backing so they could move around as the orders changed. And the very final team, two people named Agustin and Iceman, they managed to get 26:38. They went sub 30, which was a very big deal at the time, and they had the world record for years with that.
And also they were working with a different design. So the original design was the alphabet went down and the numbers went across. So probably less intuitive than it would be to do the current Jigsaw design, because
Yeah.
we think in we read what horizontally and we list numbers, so it makes more sense. But at the time it was all kind of bit wonky. So that was like
And
very
then
good.
the second championship we had a few weeks ago, and it was at a game store called the Sword and Board in Toronto. We had 14 teams compete. It was a great time. Actually, it's a good thing we didn't have 15 because we had no more tables.
Yeah, too many.
We had the exact perfect amount to be at capacity.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was the winning team, their prize. It was Larissa and Julia, big people in the speed puzzling world. They got
17
17
40 something?
I forget the exact time, 17 something. And their first prize was they were getting their name on the Jigzup box,
The first
the
edition
first
box.
edition. So people may not know, the Jigzup box is a leaderboard. The sides of the box, you can write in, you can keep track of your times on this side of the box. Oh, Kira's grabbing
Yeah,
it to show you.
Sorry to leave the screen, but I figured you haven't seen it, Adam, but there's a leaderboard.
Yeah, well, and I'll describe. So yeah, when you take the lid off, the box base, all four sides of it are just columns with names, time, and date.
And I noticed your name is on there already.
Well, in the prototype edition, yes, I did put my name on it, but in the first edition, we're using it as people who've helped us out, people who've done the jigs up a lot. We have two speed puzzling friends. I used to be a TV writer. That was my gig before this. And my two agents, they're both speed puzzlers, and they've been competing back and forth for like 3 months. They were on a battle to have the best solo time. The first time one of them did it, got 41. The other person got 40. Other person got 39. And they were just going back and forth, cutting 30 seconds or a minute off the time. They managed to get it down to about 32 minutes. And then Katie came along and
Yeah.
and destroyed them. But for months it was just them going back and forth. So they're both going on the box
Yeah.
of the first edition.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that Jerome, as you can tell, probably likes to interact with the art. So, writing on the back of the puzzle. And so having the leaderboard is that kind of, so you don't write on the back of Jigsaw because it's there to help you. You don't want to like taint your clues. But then the leaderboard is a place for you to, log, and then you can be like, oh, I want to try and beat that time today, where you can see your own personal bests and have a go. It's like very,
I've,
people are kind of reluctant to write on boxes.
yeah, some people won't do it. I'm like, are you
No.
keeping track of your times on the box? They're like, I wouldn't dare.
So you mentioned that. I'm just gonna take the one puzzle behind me. I don't know if it's gonna show up on the screen. This isn't the best version of it, but inside the box here, like I do write on some of my puzzles. I don't do it as much anymore because I'm doing a lot more puzzles and I just forget sometimes. But there's a lot of puzzles I have around where there's 4, 5, 6 different people who have either borrowed them or you've exchanged them and they've written theirs. So there's like it's essentially what you have on yours, which is the leaderboard. I don't mind writing on the box. Writing on the back of the puzzle, I would struggle a bit more with, unless it's a really monumental puzzle that I did with people. But no, writing in the box, I think it like you said way at the beginning of this chat, it creates like a little story of that puzzle and when it's been done before, and that's what you're doing with the boxes that you're releasing when this first edition comes out, which is nice to see.
I know you're the one interviewing us, but there was something you said early on that really you said you haven't done a puzzle-free relaxation for a while. What? But you're still doing a lot of puzzles. What do you get from speed puzzling? Like, what's the feeling that you're getting from it?
I kind of mentioned this in a few other chats I've done with people, and I don't mind restating it. There's a lot of stuff like in day-to-day life that is unfinished, I guess. There's always something that's coming up next and you're not completing. When it comes to a puzzle, I can do it fast and I know it's going to be done at the end, and it's that sense of satisfaction that okay, it's done, great, I can move on to something else. In a world where a lot of stuff, as I said, is unfinished, a puzzle is not. I like the speed aspect of it. I know how long it's going to take me, give or take, and then I can move on to something else. Usually another puzzle is what I move on to, which is why other things aren't finished, I guess. But yeah, that's what I get from the speed puzzling community. When it comes to the relaxation part, I think just because I'm so focused on the speed puzzle aspect right now, and I had an injury to my hand a few years ago, which is going to act up again in probably in a few years and take me out of the speed puzzle world to the level I'm at now, to the speed I'm at now. So it's getting as much of it, getting as much out of it as I can now before I go back to more relaxed puzzles when in 5-10 years, whenever that might be. So yeah, that's why I don't focus too much on the relaxation. I can relax later.
Right. Okay. That's really lovely. I can really relate to that idea of being able, it's something we lack control over so many things in our lives in the world. It's nice to have these moments where it's just like, okay, I'm going to sit down for an hour, and at the end of it, I'll have this beautiful thing that I will have completed in front of me, and I am in charge.
I think that's the universal feeling of a puzzle, is the accomplishment of when it's finished. There's something so satisfying and rewarding about that, right? It's just like, I did that.
Yeah. I think that's true of any puzzle. Like that's really what it comes down to for me with puzzles, is like, yeah.
That's why they end up on your kitchen table for 3 days, because you're like, oh, that was me.
Yeah.
For some people, if you don't have to use it.
Well, at the risk of seeming to go back into pitch mode, the Jigzup gives that satisfaction, but you'll be done in half an hour. It won't be on the table for a week.
Or less.
Or less.
I don't keep puzzles out at all. Once it's done, it's back in the box within minutes. It's on to the next one. Yeah. So yeah, you hosted your own World Championships, I guess. I guess that what I'm gonna move on to so in about 5-6 weeks from the time that we're recording this, the Speed Puzzle World Championships will be taking place in Spain. Toronto will be hosting the World Series of Speed Puzzling in June of next year. Sometime around then, there will be the Canadian National Speed Puzzling Championships. Have you thought about, kind of putting you on the spot here, I guess, have you thought about showing up at one of these types of events where it is the fastest in the world or the fastest in the country, and seeing what the top of the top can do with this puzzle?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's
We're very excited to get to these events. We're not going to be at the one in Spain coming up soon.
yeah,
It's too on top of our what we're working on,
yeah.
unfortunately. But we are trying to get some copies to them so at least they know about it. And
And some of the champions there, like Victor and some other
Yeah.
champions are going to be getting a jigs up too. So hopefully we'll see
yeah,
that. And we were recommended from Julia, actually, our current champion, about the World Series happening next year in Toronto. So we're going to connect with them. And
we're hoping, fingers crossed, nothing's agreed upon yet, but we want to be at the World Series in Toronto. I mean, we have this puzzle, which is a Toronto original,
Yeah.
and if the event is here, it just makes sense. We're in conversation with the USA JPA, and we're going to be sponsoring some of their contests, sending them some puzzles as prizes. And in March, they have the USA jigsaw in Atlanta. Yeah, so we'd love to be there. No, we really want to get to these competitions. Maybe just have a table to show people and sell them. Maybe
an
actual event where folks compete with the Jigzup, or like with the World Series, you'll have 6 different events of different types of puzzles. So maybe, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We haven't even had this conversation with them, but we would love it if one of those events was Jigzup.
Yeah, like a special guest event or something. So yeah, and I think this is where we're so grateful to the speed puzzling community, because they have embraced Jigzup, and their curiosity is kind of helping more people find us, but also they are then suggesting other things that we wouldn't have known about because we're not immersed in that world. We're like, oh, you should try this and meet these people, and so we're so grateful for that generosity of
Speed puzzlers
sharing
are
that.
so nice.
Yeah.
They are so nice. I used to think I used to work at Massey Hall when I was in university. I went to Ryerson, now MTU, and TMU. What's MTU? Metro.
I don't know.
Anyway,
That's a new one.
anyhow, I worked at Massey Hall, and there was a Marilyn Manson concert, and I was an usher, and the goths would show up in like 90s goths, full on like black makeup, top hats, like old timey funeral directors, and it was a bit intimidating. And then I realized these are the nicest people. Like in all the gigs I worked at Massey Hall, the nicest people were the goths. So for years of my life, I was like, the nicest people in the world are goths. I think speed puzzlers give them a run for their money.
There you go.
That was a potential story.
That's a comparison I didn't expect to hear on this chat. Love it. That kind of is closing out our chat about Jigzup and what it is, what it potentially could be going forward. As a reminder, the Kickstarter is coming out on September 1st. I do have a few final questions that I ask all my guests on here, but before we get to that, is there anything else that you do want to mention that I might have missed about Jigzup, yourselves, anything you want to talk about?
One thing that might be worth mentioning, it came up that these are made in the States. We love our friends in the States. I mean, it doesn't make sense going into the politics in this puzzle chat. There's things happening between our countries that are weird right now, but it doesn't. The reason why it's made in the States is because there is no jigsaw puzzle factory in Canada that can make jigsaw.
Yeah, we tried. We wanted everything to be Canadian.
Yeah, our first choice was made in Canada. This was not possible. There are a lot of really lovely puzzle companies in Canada, but they're smaller operations. They use a rolling die, a rolling press instead of a hydraulic press, and they can't make a two-sided puzzle with the precision that it needs to be made. So and the company that we found in the States, they're in Indiana. They're called Package Right. They're mentors to us. They're so lovely. They're so friendly. They're so helpful. We're coming at this as brand new puzzle people. We don't know what we're doing. And they're like, we're on your team. We're going to do this together. What do you need to know? How can we make it happen? How can we help you? They're the sweetest people, and we're really lucky to have them. But I know that this is Canadian Puzzles, and we've got a Canadian flag behind you. I did want to explain why it is that we're making it in the States and not Canada. That's the reason.
Yeah.
it's very difficult to find certain things within Canada. So yeah, some stuff has to come from other countries, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue for the vast majority of people. And yeah, no issues with that. It's the AI one that gets a lot of people. That, and you're not doing that, so we're
We
good.
are untouched by AI.
Staunchly on
from-
AI.
Yeah, the package. This place is amazing. We're going to start posting videos of our trip to Indiana. It was back in February, but we felt like we got the golden ticket to
Yeah,
Willy
it was
Wonka's
brilliant.
factory. And they were not used to having people come to their factory and ooh and on, want to meet everyone and see everything. We brought since we're coming. Well, we got a bunch of Eat More chocolate bars,
Okay.
the best Canadian chocolate bar, and a bunch of Hawkins cheesies, and the best Canadian savory snack.
Like that.
And we were giving out Eat Mores and Cheesies
Yeah.
to the people working at the factory as thanks, because we wanted to represent Canada and thank them.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'll get to see some videos of actual puzzle machines in the factory. So yeah.
It was fun.
Great. So yeah, as a reminder, before we go to the last few questions, the Kickstarter is starting on September 1st. The following all the progress with the Jigzup puzzle and what's coming up next, that's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all at what's the third one? YouTube? Yeah, YouTube. All at World's Fastest Puzzle, and then worldsfastestpuzzle.com as well, which also includes a practice Jigzup on there as well, a digital version, which I've loved testing out. I think I'm still the number one person on there.
Are you the number one person right now? The times have
Yeah.
gone crazy
The
fast.
times have gone really fast, yeah.
At
I'm
the
gonna
end
check
of the
it
month,
right
Who-
now,
who-
actually.
while you're checking it, I'll mention whoever at the end of the month, whoever got the fastest time over the course of that month gets mailed a Jigzup. So I think that's you. Is that you right now, Adam?
Where is it? Yeah, I have the top three. All
Nice.
20
What's your
seconds.
fastest?
20 seconds 3 times.
Right, so that's
Holy
faster than the
cow.
last record. Every time there's a new leader at the top of the leaderboard, they've really kind of like usurped the previous leader. Like the first person who won was a minute, and then I think it was someone, Katie, got it down to like 23 seconds. It was like, whoa, that's such a lead.
She had 21. She won last month with 21, and I didn't want to stand for that. So I think I beat that time within half an hour after the prize was announced for July. I was like, she already has the fastest time individually. She has the fastest time. She can't have both. You get one or the other, and
Really? Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. This is where the competitiveness kicks in for speed puzzlers. It's and then someone's gonna get 19, and then I'll have to figure out how to get 18. I don't know how to do that, but yeah. Go and try that out. Try to get 21 seconds, not 20. That's me. Try to get 21 seconds on the leaderboard.
Yeah, we thought it was a good way to kind of demonstrate what Jigzup is without being too prescriptive. It's like, this is just so you get a gist for it, because it's sometimes hard to contemplate.
And again, also something really good to have in a primary school classroom for stuff in between lessons. They all have iPads and laptops and stuff now. Easy. So, yeah. Okay, great. I just have a few questions that I ask everybody that appears on this. Where'd it go? So the first one is, and I'm going to adjust it a little bit because usually it's heavily speed puzzlers that do this, but I think input from different perspectives within the puzzle community is very important. Within the puzzle community as a whole, goal setting comes up quite a bit. Now, you two set yourself out to build a puzzle, the world's fastest puzzle. You started a goal 8 years ago. What advice would you give to people for setting up their own types of goals, even if it might take a long time?
The best advice that I give myself all the time is to listen to your instincts and act on them. Jigzup is sort of a weird idea, and it only exists because I embraced it. In turn, I emotionally was like, you know what? This, for whatever reason, you love this, and it's weird, and let's make it, and let's not just make it, let's really make it. And when I think back on the things I'm most proud of in my life, it's always listening to my instincts. And I think starting a new business, listen to your instincts, listen to your inner voice, pay attention to it, and that's definitely helped me out.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when the goal is big, it feels insurmountable. It's like, I don't know if I'll ever achieve it. So then you just chunk it down. So steps, that's the way that we've done Jigzup. Jigzup's been phased out very, very strategically. It wasn't just everything all at once. It was like, we're in this phase. So now we're in the Kickstarter phase. So that's what we're focusing on before we're in the production phase or social media phase, like everything bite-sized. And then you only got to do that bit, and then you move on to the next bit, rather than trying to think of it all as one thing to try and manage at once, because that would never have happened. It would never have happened for us.
No.
But because of, tried and tested strategies, we were like, we're just going to do it in phases and we'll get there in the end.
Yeah, be very kind in your timelines.
Yeah.
Don't try to do it all at once.
Great advice. Another part of this channel in particular is a series called Speed Puzzling 101 that is there to help out people that might be new to speed puzzling, or people that have been doing it for a while and are just looking for different ways to build their skills, whatever they might get from that. For two people who are not necessarily deep into the speed puzzling community, this could be an interesting response. Is there a piece of advice or a tip or a challenge or something that I might be able to, that you would recommend or you would suggest that I feature in a upcoming episode at some point?
I mean, I'm not a great speed puzzler, but I've seen a lot of great speed puzzlers do Jigzup. One thing I've learned, spread your pile out.
Yeah.
Some people make the mistake of keeping their pile all clumped up in a mound, in a hill, and then you can't see most of it. Spread out your pile. This is probably very 101. The people are like, yeah, give me something good, Jerome. But that's something I've learned.
Yeah, and also don't build in the puzzle. Like, keep your puzzle pieces outside of your frame, because that's something that we see people and you're like, no, you're just, you're just shouting at the screen, being like, why are you doing that? Keep your frame clean. I think that's something that we see. But
and I'm going to give this, I mean, there's no wrong way to Jigzup. If you're having a good time, you're doing it right. There's no rules. But I will say, if you want a little insider tip, I'm 98% positive that the fastest way to do Jigzup is by color, not by letter, not by number. Those obviously are part of it, but if your primary sorting technique is by color, that is the way it's designed to be fastest, because the colors are on both sides, the letters and numbers are only on the top. So give it a think.
All right, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how that goes. Great. So just to finish this all up, I have some quick fire questions for you, all puzzle related. Answer to whatever comes to your minds first as we go through them.
Lightning round. Boom, boom, boom. Ready. Hit me.
What is your favorite puzzle brand?
Oof. Honest answer, it's Jigzup. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Jigzup.
Sorry.
I was wondering if that was going to be the where you went with that, but I'm glad you said that. Good. Your favorite piece count?
Oh, favorite piece count.
I think a 500 is a good for me. 500 is good. It's the right level of challenge, but it's not too long. I think I like a 500.
Yeah, for traditional puzzle, 1,000 is, unless I have a whole weekend, 1,000 is too much for me. 500 is nice. Less than 500 feels more like a kid's puzzle to me. 500 is the sweet spot. Yeah. Or 504, but...
Yeah, that is true. There are, your favorite piece cut style?
Oh.
I don't like the random designs. I like it confuses me a little bit. Some people love it. It's not when I'm organizing a puzzle, a traditional puzzle, I like to put the ones with 4 outies in a row, and then 3 outies in a row, and then 2 outies, and then 1 outie, and then no outies. Like I sort of organize the pieces that way. But the ones where asymmetrical and with diagonal cuts. It's beautiful, and I love that this is happening, but it's not my bag.
And I like the ones where they have pieces that are the shape of like an animal, like an orangutan or an elephant. And so like you've got the puzzle, but then you've got actually stylized shapes within. I think that's it's really innovative. I like that.
No one's ever given that answer before. It's the ones that look like they're called whimsies. That's what those specialized pieces are. I've never heard someone say that. I always forget those exist. Yeah, they happen in wooden puzzles a lot.
Yeah,
that's where they show up.
And I don't imagine speed puzzlers are doing it because that would be like too distracting. So as in like, for a speed puzzle event.
Who knows?
That's our coffee machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. We're good for coffee.
We don't.
You can tell.
Only a few questions left, then you can have all the coffee you need. Your favorite puzzle event that you've been a part of?
Do you know, we went to an event at Snakes and Lattes in Toronto a few weeks ago. The operations manager there, Casto, he invited us to set up a table at it's just their like weekly speed puzzling competition. They do a Ravensburger, and they were very welcoming. And after all the teams finished doing their speed puzzle, they came and they did, most of them anyway, did a Jigzup immediately on the bounce after doing the competition. And like what we were saying earlier about speed puzzlers being so nice and curious and welcoming and friendly, it was not a huge event, but we met some really lovely people. Oh, and this is the first time this ever happened. These two people came up to us after they finished the conversation. They're like, "Oh, we're big Jigzup fans," and it was really moving to us.
Yeah, they found us on the internet. I'm going to just be bold and say our last speed puzzle champion, the Jigzup Championship, because that was the first time we've ever arranged something on that level. So it shows us what goes into these bigger, speed puzzling events, and just being part of it, just the quiet, the sensoriness of a speed puzzle event was really quite magical. So I'm excited to go to bigger ones now. They've kind of like lit a fire in us to attend more.
Yeah, we've been invited. There's True North Puzzle Events has a big event in Oshawa. It's going to be in the past for people listening to this episode, but it's in the future for us right now. And they've invited us to come and set up a table and show people Jigzup. And that's this weekend. Yeah. We're really excited about that. That'll be the biggest event we've gone to so far.
It will be big. And Julia will be there as well. So maybe she can beat her time. That's all good. Your favorite, where was I? Your favorite puzzler?
It's a team. Their names are Alvin and Min. And they're filmmakers. They made some of our Jigzup ads. They're friends of ours, but they take the Jigzup very seriously. And as a pair, they just hammer down the best pairs time. They've now been beaten by someone else, but like Glenn and Carrie I was talking about earlier, they just worked. They're this beautiful romantic couple. They love each other, and they just get sometimes in the evening they do Jigzup. And try to trim 30 seconds off their time. I'm going to go with them for my favorite speed puzzlers.
Yeah, this is hard for me because I'm so immersed in watching lots of videos on social media. But I'm gonna say, is it Katie or Katie at Black Cat Puzzles? Just because I think I know I've watched her videos so often. She seems very compelling. I would love to see her puzzle live.
and
she's very fast.
Yeah, it would be so. That fast fingers.
Who's your favorite?
I can't answer that. No,
that's good answer. Good answer.
Anybody that appears on this channel is right near the top. So those are there's the hierarchies, and anyone that I've puzzled with as well, if that I've competed with, also my favorites. Your favorite puzzle that you've ever completed.
Favorite puzzle that I've ever completed.
There was one puzzle that I could have kept doing over and over again, and I'd never have that compulsion. But we were at a cottage, and there was an Edward Gorey puzzle, and it was like this kind of weird figure of a man. But it had these weird the colors were kind of pastel, limes, and purple. It was like a very unusual color scheme for a puzzle, and it was just I couldn't be dragged away from it. I was so immersed, and I could have done it over and over. So, but I can't remember who made it, but it was an Edward Gorey print. It was really cool.
I mean, I'm not going to say Jigzup, even though that's, but other Jigzup excluded. I got that spherical puzzle we were talking about earlier. I bought it at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Chicago in the gift shop, and it was like 300 pieces. It was molded plastic, and it was just a continuous color spectrum with a stand, and it was on our table for a week, and I didn't get anything done that week. I couldn't look away from the darn thing. That was a heck of a puzzle.
Yep.
The hardest puzzle that you've ever completed?
Same one. That spherical color puzzle. It was.
There's lots of false fits in that one.
Lots of false fits. Very difficult. Sometimes hard to know. Is this color lighter or darker than that? Is this the same shade?
And you had the three-dimensional elements, so you were having to make it so that it actually made sense, like three-dimensionally, like that the piece is curved in the right way. Otherwise, it could like have a weird invert.
Yeah, that was basically a full-time job for a week. That was the hardest.
Your least favorite design to see on a puzzle?
I see some of these some of the trashy AI designs that come out.
Yeah.
I'm sure AI is going to get better, but right now I don't like the colors. I don't like the
image
the overly tuned up color vibrancy that looks fake, and I don't like the busy color schemes that often come with them. Like maybe sometimes they're fantastical landscapes. I love a fantastical landscape. But they'll put like every single color of the rainbow in it, and it just looks busy and fake. And I really, it gives me the ick.
I think that's what it is. You can tell that's not a human. A human would never translate. And so I think that's what it is. It feels like you get an immediate ick towards it, and but we never can put our finger on it. There's just something that that uncanny valley about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your favorite puzzle moment?
What a lovely question.
Yeah. Well, there is a puzzle moment that maybe isn't like as directly as a puzzle is being put together, but it is a puzzle being put together. It was the moment that we got the first shrink wrap Jigzup off the factory floor, fresh off the machine, and it was still warm. And there's a video coming of this, and I gave it to Jerome, and it was like the most beautiful moment because it was very emotional. We were crying. It was like, and I think that was what it was. It was like seeing 8 years of Jerome's brain go through all these processes and iterations, and then the physical copy being warm, fresh off the press, as they say, in your hands. That was will always be a favorite moment, life moment for me, not just a puzzle moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on Kira's answer there, because that truly was a magical moment for us. We really felt leveled up. So this factory, there's these incredible machines, and there's all these people, and they're making my puzzle. The president, Kevin, of the factory, he was there. He was right there making it with the assembly line, and then it came off the line, and they handed me one, and it was still warm. It was still warm in this box, and Kira and I were both crying and hugging. It was a real magical moment. Oh, and then the ribbon on it was, somebody said, "Last puzzle." When the last puzzle comes off the line, they're like, "Last puzzle." And then everyone else starts yelling it too, "Last puzzle, last puzzle." That was pretty. And so the last puzzle, we
have it.
We grabbed it. We're like, we're keeping this one. And that's the one that we use.
That's ours. Yeah.
Nice. Your favorite way to get new puzzles?
In shops.
Yeah, there's some lovely puzzle shops in Toronto.
There's the Puzzle Nerds have a beautiful boutique shop up in Toronto, and I think there's something I know that there's so many puzzles out there. If you're into puzzles, like you get them however you can, but like the feeling of going in a puzzle shop and feeling the puzzle and shaking the box, and that very tactile experience, which is what puzzles are all about, it feels nice to feel it in a box. You can like feel what you want to actually make when you're in a puzzle shop, I think. So, yeah.
Me too. I love puzzles. I love a shop. I love the tactile experience. I grew up with video stores. I don't want to choose a movie by clicking. I want to choose a movie by going to a store and taking things off the shelf and touching them. Same with puzzles.
Yeah, I miss Blockbuster. Your dream puzzle last question. Your dream puzzle that you've not done but wish you could.
I know I keep turning the spotlight back on myself, and I'm so sorry, but I'm just being honest. I'm really excited for Jigzup Epic. I can't wait to see the one that goes to A32. It's going to fill a whole day. It's going to be a big puzzle, and I can see it in my head, and I'm really excited about it.
I guess mine's the Braille Jigsup. That's because it doesn't exist. I've seen puzzles that are Braille puzzles, but they're literally the characters printed on a flat puzzle with no texture. And I'm like, okay, so you can read the characters, but visually, but you can't touch them. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be a real innovation.
I like those answers because it's the first time from any guest where they've actually said a dream puzzle, because those puzzles essentially are your dream, and on wishing that that's going to happen for you, I really do. I think that's a great way to kind of end this chat on what the possibilities are that might come from this. You've done so much already. I'm very excited to see what happens, especially with the Kickstarter on September 1st, and hopefully trying out this puzzle sooner rather than later. But thank you both for joining me. It's been a pleasure to talk with you. I can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you so much for having us, Adam. We feel very honored.
Yeah, and thank you for being a community builder in the world.
Yeah.